Be good to have a look around here again. It's been a few years since I've been here. So Inaminka's in Outback, South Australia. We've crossed over back into South Australia this morning. As you can see, lots of signs up about the road conditions for the area. It was a bit rough in parts coming in from the dig tree. A lot of water and things across the road, quite a few washouts. And Inaminka had been a trading post at one stage, and they're still quite the same actually. Everyone stops for their fuel. There's a pub, little store. It's always quite busy here with travellers. That's how you know you've crossed over back into South Australia, people. Farmers Union iced coffee. Absolutely the best still, I reckon. And this is the Inaminka trading post here. Which is where you need to kind of have a look at all the road conditions, see what's going on. There's the old hospital here at Inaminka, which was established by John Flynn. Some of you might recognise that name as the gentleman who began the Royal Flying Doctor. It's now a little historical museum, so we're going to go and have a look in there now. And there is quite a bit of information here at this Inaminka stop to learn, isn't there, Aidan? Yep. As per usual, lots to learn. You can actually camp down here, down along the Cooper Creek, which is called the Town Common. It's a really great exhibition in here in the old hospital. You can really imagine sitting out here with, you know, the screens on the windows. The flies can still get through, but I guess it offered some kind of air conditioning. And to give you some idea of what it's like out here, if you haven't been out here, I'm sure it's still the same today. This is back in on the newspaper in 1935. They used to eat with their heads under the tablecloth because the dust storms that blew through, and I'm sure it's still the same today, they would eat with their heads and their food under the tablecloth, and it was nothing to sweep up to 9 buckets a day of dust off of their floors. So yeah, that's where we are. It can either be mud, dust, flies, blazing sun, or freezing cold wind. Welcome to the Outback. Display in here doubles as the National Park office. The ranger does have a small office in here, so not sure how often they're actually here, but this is where you'll find information if you want to head out on some of the tracks. Unfortunately for us at the moment is what, Aidan?
Most of them are closed.
Most of them are closed. We're pretty fortunate to get down and be able to head down the Strzelecki because the weather's right. But it's been very rainy, so everything's still pretty wet out there at the moment, even though you wouldn't really know it where we are. So, oh, what a shame. We'll just have to keep coming back. It's not actually that far for us from the Flinders Ranges. Well, for us. 750 k's from our home base, roughly. Gone from the old style hospital there to, this is the Royal Flying Doctor Service building out here now. Looking a bit more modern these days. I guess the Royal Flying Doctor flies in there to do their clinics and obviously to pick up patients if needed. Very, very important service that runs in the outback of Australia. We're on the Strzelecki Track now, and it probably doesn't look like it because it is looking so green at the moment for out here. Some of you are probably like, huh, green? Doesn't look that green. But actually it's quite amazing to see it like this.
Yes, it's a long time since I've seen it, anything like, well, actually I don't think I've ever seen it looking like this. Every time I've come up it's been brown and parched.
Yeah, really parched, dry.
They've even tarred a whole lot of it now as well.
Yes, and a lot of it, you know, more and more of it is becoming sealed, making it easier to get inland up there, up to Inaminka.
And up to Queensland.
Yeah, and going on further, Queensland, which is where we've come from. So we're about to hit the dirt again now, along the Strzelecki. So it's certainly not fully sealed yet. And this is where you tend to go a lot slower. And we have been told there's some pretty bad ruts and potholes out here since the last heavy rains. So you've really got to take notice and just take it slow.
450 k's of what I read.
Yes, about 450 k's of dirt road and potholes coming up. I think we might be camping somewhere though, in between, hey?
More than likely.
Quite surprising to know there's quite a bit of cattle out here at the moment along the Strzelecki, and they're looking really fat and happy. Fat and happy cattle. Well, we're out in the Strzelecki Track, everyone. Putting the Bushtracker through its paces. It's absolutely beautiful out here, the greenest that I've ever seen it, and certainly I think the same for you, isn't it,
Yep,
Hayden?
definitely.
It's not overly busy. The road you do have to keep your eye on. It's we've been told there's quite a few big ruts and things, and with the road the way it is, you kind of don't know until you're almost on them. So we're just taking it slow and steady. And we've managed to find this old boar pull off so that we can have something to eat. And we will have to find somewhere to camp tonight as well. But it's just absolutely glorious out here. So much water about. Yeah, really worth doing. And actually the Strzelecki might surprise you that it is at the moment, I guess, because they've had all the rain and the water. There's a lot of cattle around. We just pull off for every truck that comes along because the dust is just like boom. You can't see anything. So you just went in the van, Aidan. Is there any dust in there?
No.
None.
Nothing's moved.
None, which is why we have a gasless van with no vents in it, because we want to be able to do these and not walk into a van that's, you know, got all the dust inside. Been there, done that, learnt the hard way. So welcome. So I've just come into the van and not a speck of dust. We're so happy with how the Bushtracker's travelling out on these really rough roads. So far so good. We haven't had anything come loose, not a thing, not one screw. This is the only travesty that we've had in the van. Oh, it's happened again, Aidan. Yeah. And the blind rollers dropped down the cover a couple of times. That's it. I was just saying we've had nothing with the van that we've been concerned about or worried about. No. And this is really its first big trip. Mind you, we don't carry much that's going to bounce around either. So, yeah, welcome to our lunch stop today. Sit here and watch the trucks go by and the plumes of dust. Out along the Strzelecki at the moment, it's just a carpet of wildflowers. Just beautiful. Certainly giving us plenty to look at along the way. Just spotted our first dingo wandering around out here. Which is pretty cool. Always love seeing them. This one looks quite healthy, doing his thing. Dingoes are out everywhere. This is a different one that just crossed the road. Geez, they look healthy. Look at him. He's like, hi. What are you guys doing? Hey? Just wandered across the road in front of us, not in a hurry. This is home tonight. I'm not sure we're battling the crowds. Do you think we can handle the crowds, Aidan?
We'll try our best. We might have to be sociable.
What with the dingoes? About the only ones that are around here. We've pulled into a, well, it says it's a rest stop on the Strzelecki Track. Looks like it's been a lot more organised than what it is now. It's obviously been underwater. So I'll look up the name, pop it on the screen for you. What is that? Mortallina boar. Anyway, we'll check that. We're at the count of 3 dingoes today, wandering about. So it'll be interesting to see if we see any here tonight. I just spied these plaques from climbing up the other hill. What did you say it's called, Aidan?
Montecalina boar.
Right, Montecalina boar, everyone. Wow. And I just said to Aidan I could see these little plaques from over on the sandhill over there. And there are obviously some outback graves going back to 1883. Wow. It says these plaques have been placed by volunteers from Outback grave markers. Please treat with respect. See the stories on our website. So I'll have to take a photo of that and check it out. So we've got no phone reception here. What a harsh place to perish, hey?
Well, somewhere near here they perished.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to know they're being marked.
Yes.
Never heard about that graves.
No. I definitely have to look that up. This landscape is so different. As I said earlier, we've crossed into South Australia now, and we're only a couple of 100 k's north of Lyndhurst, is that right?
Yeah.
And this landscape is totally different to closer up towards Inaminka.
Or farther south.
Mm.
Where we got the Flinders.
Oh yeah, farther south, as you can see here, it's kind of like almost like sand dunes, but not sand dunes.
The vegetated moonscape.
Yeah, vegetated moonscape, that's a good description of it. And few people have passed us today, and obviously nobody else has decided to stay. Actually, a couple passed us in a troopy radio to say could they come past, because obviously we've been going like granny slow today. And they said, "Is that Vantasticaus?" We said, "Yep." So we introduced ourselves over the radio, but you didn't tell me your name. I'm sorry. So guys, hi. We were hoping that we might pull up here and that you were here too, but you were able to go a little bit faster than us, so you're further down south by now. So hopefully we'll catch up along the way somewhere. This is the free camp we woke up in this morning. It's where we're at the beach, but we're a very long way from the beach. Very quiet overnight, not a peep. Came out and had a look for some animals late, but there was nothing. But they've definitely been through camp this morning. There's been a wild dog through, or dingo, having a dig around everywhere, lots of paw prints. And I was really surprised this morning to find that these sandhills here, you might be able to hear them, but of course they've disappeared now. The sandhills were full of blue fairy wrens, which really surprised me out here. Bopping about, the boy with his gals. So this is the start to our travel day today. I'm doing my gym work on the Strzelecki this morning. Oh, it's not heavy, but I tell you what, I could be like all those Instagrammers doing my workout out the front of the caravan for everyone to see. Now, do you reckon that's come off one of those trucks, probably?
Possibly.
So, just saying to the 2 lots of 4-wheel drives that just passed us and radioed us to say this was in the middle of the road, instead of radioing us, you could have just stopped and picked it up. Just saying. So my point being with the steel bar is we've all got to look after each other out here, and that was laying right across the middle of the road. It's probably come off one of those trucks that we passed. We just passed a couple of wide loads past us, and the poor buggers are doing 5 to 10 kilometres an hour. I'll pop some footage in here for you to show you. And so yeah, if you spot that stuff out in the road, you know, can't be in that much of a hurry that you can't just stop and get it off the road to make it safer for everyone and your vehicles. You know, we could have taken it with us, I guess, instead of leaving it as rubbish, but you also don't know, those truckies, if you come back that way, or it's someone that needs it, they might come back looking for it. Had all numbers written on it. But hope they don't get that big machinery to where they need to go and they've got one part missing. Oops. Oops. Here we are. We are coming to the end of the Strzelecki Track now. We've spent a few days wandering down the track, wandering definitely, almost at walking pace in some places, wasn't it, Aidan?
Yep. There was a few rough spots, and not all of them were on the dirt. There were quite a few nasty washouts on the tar.
Yes. So even though some parts of the Strzelecki are now bitumised, we thought that the bitumen was way worse in places with all the washouts, the drop-offs back into the dirt sections, than if it had have just been dirt. So definitely you do need to take it slow through there at the moment, particularly between Inaminka and Lyndhurst. They've obviously had lots of torrential rain through there and flooding, done a lot of damage. So
it made it look very green.
Sorry?
It did make it look very green up at towards Inaminka and Moomba.
Yes, yeah. So
a lot drier down here.
We've hit the Flinders Ranges end now, and as you can see, the wildflowers are gone, the green carpet has gone. This is where we have our home base, down in the Flinders Ranges, although we are not going home just yet. Can't bring ourselves to do that just yet.
Have another day or two.
Yeah, we've got a few more days, so we're like, let's make the most of it. We hope you've enjoyed our trek down the Strzelecki. The Bushtracker's held up very well, although we haven't stopped for lunch yet to go in after the really rough sections we've done this morning.
But nothing moved yesterday.
Yes, nothing's moved so far, and it's all been really good, so we're very happy with that. Probably the highlight for me today, which unfortunately I couldn't catch on camera, A, because I didn't want to, and B, because I was too busy enjoying the moment, was I've never seen so many wedge-tail eagles as what we've seen out in this road this morning. And there was 2 wedgies circling just to the left of me, and I thought, wow, they're actually a bit close together. I'd not really seen them that close while they were in the air, and then all of a sudden they locked tail ends together and started spinning. So obviously I'm thinking it was probably 2 males that were perhaps vying for territory. I don't know if there's any experts out there on wedge-tail eagles. Please let me know. Obviously it goes onto my Google list now, but we've been out of phone reception, so we have a list as long as our arm of stuff to Google when we get back into reception. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed it.
And don't forget to stay tuned to see where we end up next, because yes, as I said, we're not going home just yet. I think Aiden will be happy with this one. Hey?
We'll see.
Aiden's stomach will be happy with this one. Bye.